Okay, so we talked a little bit about the problems and the scaling problems and diversity of infrastructure and the lack of uniformity and the problems it causes within enterprise. Let's talk about how we actually make the Omni Gateway pattern a reality. Okay, so let's take an example environment. Right? And so let's take the Ingress case first. Right? We have traffic coming into the network of our services. And this is a gateway, right? And this gateway is loading policies and sending traffic into internal systems. Very standard. And what we want the gateway to do is like what we would want any API management product to do. It's these set of capabilities, these policies. And we use a standard piece of infrastructure to do this. Our technology is built on top of Envoy. It's a very capable L7 proxy. We add a lot of capability to it to implement a broad range of policies that are applicable to this Ingress use case. When the gateway communicates to services internally, right, so we have A and B, we use the service mesh pattern. And so in ambient, we have the ztunnel component attached to every physical node where these services run. And that instantaneously for everything inside this environment gives us zero trust, which means I know the gateway is talking to A. If A talks to B, I know A is talking to B, and so on and so forth. And we get all the properties of zero trust. So we get time-bounded credentialing, we get like an identity, and the peer identity of any traffic flow is known by both peers, and so they can mutually authenticate each other. Right? That's what we use MTLS for. And then you can apply authorization policy on top of that. So A can call B, but it can call this operation, but not that one. And so we have this basic underlying primitive of zero trust. And then with ambient, we are able to inject another gateway into this traffic pattern, which we call the waypoint in the ambient use case. And that gateway can also load the same type of policies that the Ingress could load, because we use the same infrastructure for this. And we can repeat this pattern here, and we can repeat it here. Right? It's just a pattern that we stamp out using the same infrastructure, the same basic capabilities everywhere in every network flow that we have. And then finally, when we want traffic to go out to the outside world, we also use a gateway. And because we're also using ztunnel here, all the zero trust pieces are known here. So we know A is trying to make a call to some external service. Let's say you want to call a SaaS-based LLM, and you want the traffic to go to that, but you only want A to be able to call it and not B. Well, we know A is calling through the egress, which SaaS service they're trying to call, and so we can implement that policy. Again, the same types of policies are loaded into here. So the infrastructure is completely uniform. We use the same infrastructure. We use the same underlying zero trust primitives. We use the same policy mechanisms. And because we're able to do that consistently, that means they produce a common set of signals, they have common behaviors, and you can reason about them in a common form. Right? So let's say this is a SaaS API. And we achieve all the same capabilities that we achieved over here with a mix of proprietary or platform-specific technologies using commodity stamped out pieces of infrastructure composed in a sensible way. And now we can repeat this. Right? This is not bound to any one particular environment, deployment type, cloud provider, or anything like this. This same stack runs on-premise, on a cloud, on different platforms, on different compute types, whether it's containers, functions, VMs. This basic set of primitives can be composed in any environment. And that repeatability, and because we're using zero trust, means that if I want A to call something in another environment, right, where they have a different boundary or different runtime, a different platform, the same things work everywhere. These gateways produce the same telemetry, the same visibility into the behavior of the traffic that they see everywhere. So they all feed a uniform set of information about what's going on in the network to a common collection point, into a standardized APM solution. We can integrate with third-party APMs, commercial APMs, or commonly used APM solution tools like Prometheus and Grafana. By having a common set of telemetry, you can now make much better informed decisions about what's going on in the network. So imagine you had one of these environments, and let's say 5 more of them, and one of them was having a major production issue. But you were trying to figure out, because the traffic is flowing between them, where the production issue resides. Well, if you don't have consistent telemetry about what those traffic flows are telling you, you could spend days or weeks trying to diagnose where this production issue exists. And we've seen this many times in our customer base. Because we produce comprehensive, uniform telemetry that means the same thing, right? There's no inconsistency about what it's telling you. It makes it much easier to diagnose network problems, right? And the skill set that you've developed to know and understand how to leverage this is repeatable in many environments. So you don't have to go through these big training sessions and re-educate people for each one of these, which yields a big operational savings, right? Because things are more consistent, people are more effective, right? And a big part of operations is, right, how many people can do a job in a given environment? Well, if I have to have dedicated expertise for each one of these environments, that's very expensive. So by having this repeatable pattern, I can build a wealth of expertise that I can then reuse in many environments. And that's what we're trying to do. This is why we call it the Omni Gateway pattern, because we take the same gateway and we put it in all of these places. Right? It is omnipresent, effectively. So hopefully some of what I talked about here resonates with you. Maybe you have experience managing different types of environments and the struggles and pain that go along with that. You know, we at Solo have had a lot of experience dealing with these environments and helping them get to this type of deployment and solution, because our customers see value in the consistency of policy and telemetry and everything else that this network provides. Then reach out to us. We would love to help you. Visit solo.io to learn more about Omni Gateway.